Okay, we are back for module number 2, and module 2 is going to focus on using the applied mathematics feature for instruction and then also to assign applied mathematical tasks to the students to work individually. Now, from module 1, you have already learned how to get to the website and how to log in using your teacher credentials, your ST number, and your password. So we are back to our home screen, which is our dashboard. And if you have not created any widgets to go on your dashboard, that's fine. As you see, I don't have any here. But let's go to our classes page, and here this is where you should be able to see your math class and your reading class. So let's look at the instruction first, because I would like to show you how to use the applied mathematical task piece as a whole group instructional piece, and as well as an individual assignment or group task assignment. So we're going to click on instruction, and in your instruction tab, you'll scroll down a little and you see classroom instruction. Here we have the applied mathematics feature, elementary science, integrated reading. However, this training module only focuses on the applied mathematics piece. So let's click on that. Once you click, you'll notice that you have the applied mathematics levels K through 8. I'm not quite sure if yours just displays your respective grade level. However, I'm able to see all. So for example, if you are a second grade teacher, well, I'll go to first grade this time. You're going to click on the applied mathematics level 1 because these numbers are representative of the grade level. So this is the first grade level. Once you click on the applied mathematics level for your particular grade, you will notice that it will bring up a variety of different lessons aligned to the state standards for your particular grade level. When using these, of course, as classroom instruction or as individual assignments, of course, you want to work within standards that have been previously taught or standards that are being currently taught. So I'm going to just select the very first one, addition and subtraction within 20, because this is first grade level. Once you choose your first topic or standard of study, you will get to the lesson, and with that lesson, it will give you a situation. Here are the options that the students will have when they are working independently, actually at a either a Chromebook or a desktop, or if you're using it to display for the whole group. Before we get into this, I want to show you the resources that you have that you can use without having the students work through the actual test. Here you have an offline activity where this is actually a printable document if you would like to use it as that, or you can use it to display or annotate over your desktop using your Promethean board. Now, as we go along, you're going to see different symbols here. Here you see a star, here a triangle, a diamond. These are representative of the level of the task. So starting from low level, increasing to very complex, to an investigation, which is the very last one with the I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. With the magnifying glass here is the highest level of task. So you can either print these for students to work on, or you can display it over the board. Okay, so going back, here is a first grade rubric with the 8 mathematical practices here, and this is how you can evaluate what levels your students are on, and it gives you a very descriptive levels, or you could say success criteria for students to be able to meet with starting from the most simplest, to the most complex levels, and it goes all the way. It includes all of the 8 mathematical practice. And then here, your level of master skills. So that's another tool you have. And then the very last tool, the teacher resource page. This gives you some more teacher information for facilitating the lesson. It gives you the practice standards that you really need to focus on with this particular task. It gives you common misconceptions that the students might encounter if their level of understanding is not to the depth that it needs to be. It also recommends the types of manipulatives that could be used to help support the student learning with the concepts. And then it also gives you the level, this is my favorite part, the part that I like. It gives you the level of depth of knowledge level, beginning earlier with the lowest level of the progression. Like, for example, we talked about earlier, the star is a symbol of or indication of that the student is progressing. Okay, and you notice that with this level of type of questioning, the students are expected to be able to draw pictures or represent their task for DOK2. Then it gives you the answer, and then it also gives you some talking points to talk or questions to ask the students as they work through. Here's another DOK2. Here's the triangle, which means the students are at the level of meeting. If you'll notice, the questions in the progressing, the questions in the progression, and in the progressing, and then notice the questions in the meeting, and then how there's a different expectation for the answer and the talking points. So for example, here in the progressing, it gives more of the model of the drawing pictures, or maybe using manipulatives, and how the correct answer is there, and then the talking points. And here, the level of expectation changes. Now let's move to expanding, and here's the diamond, DOK level 3. So if you really want to get in an in-depth level of conceptual instruction with your task, these questions are already designed and created for you to do so. Here's another level of questioning, and then it gives the possible responses. So these are more so of open-ended responses that may not all be the same. And then there's some talking points. And the highest, not the highest level, another level of DOK 3, which is an investigative approach. And see, here you have questions, correct answers, incorrect answers, and then other options of how to use the Canvas to explain the mistakes or where the student went wrong. So a student really struggling in addition and subtraction to 20 would not begin at the level of an investigation, because they would need more scaffolding and support. So they would probably begin at the progressing level. So this is a great instructional tool to use during your math instruction as a whole group lesson. Okay, so those are your could be your print resources if you decided to print these out, or like I said, it could be annotated over your desktop and projected on your Promethean board using the annotation tool. So here, this is the instructional video that the kids would watch if and when you assign this to them individually.
In this activity, you'll read the problem and answer the questions. Be sure to check with your teacher to find out what problem you should be working on. Use the Canvas and the tools at the top of the screen to help you solve the problem. There are 4 different problems in an applied math activity. Be sure to choose the type of problem your teacher has asked you to complete. Read the question and any answer choices available. Use the Canvas and the tools at the top of the screen to help you solve the problem and show your work. Click the question mark at the top to learn more about the tools you can use to help answer the problem. You can click the headphones to have the questions read out loud.
Kevin and Celia are both collecting marbles.
You can click the light bulb icon to see hints that could help you solve the problem. If you need to go back to choose a different problem, click the close button. After answering a problem and checking your work, click I'm finished to mark it complete. After completing one or all of the problems, you can click Turn In. Once you do this, you can no longer make edits and your teacher will be able to grade your work. Once you've turned in the assignment, you'll be ready to move on.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just clicked all the way out. So I can go back in. And this is where they would start the actual work on the canvas. So here, this is where they will begin progressing from most simplest to most complex. So let's just pretend that this student is at meeting. So we will click on meeting. Here is their question here. Remember, they have an option hint to where that gives them a hint, and it also tells what manipulatives might be useful. Here are, you notice in the meeting it gives them multiple choice options here. So up here are your tools that you can use, that the student is able to use. So let's I'm going to click through some of these quickly just to give you an idea of how it can be used. Of course, this is your pen, and you choose your writing tool to write here. Here are your Canvas options. You can do the grid option, or you can do a blank page option. Let's see. If you want to, if you want to highlight or do a close read of the text, you can select the text or have kids highlight using the highlighter tool. Here's some other shape options that could be clicked and inserted into the Canvas document. And then also you have the help button at any time if you forget of how to use any of the tools.
Welcome to Applied Mathematics. As you look at the screen, you probably notice there are two sections. The left side contains the problem you will solve. The right side has the canvas where you can show your work in math thinking. First, let's look at the left side. This is the problem pane where you will see the problem you need to solve. If you need help getting started, you can click on the light bulb to show a hint. There are also different tools you can use to help solve the problems. To make sense of the problem, you can use the highlighter and the notes tools. To use the highlighter, first select the text you wish to highlight, then click on the highlighter icon. Now you can select a color to use for your highlight. If you want to erase a highlight, select the highlights you wish to remove, then click the eraser.
So that's just an example of how you can access more support if needed while working within the Classworks integrated math, applied mathematics tool. But now I would like to show you how to actually create the assignments, the instruction, because now you know how you can use this as an instructional piece, but if you want to assign it to your students. So we would go, there are two different ways. One way is to start with classes. So of course that was math, so I'm going to choose a math class, Baker Math. I can either check the box, click assign, it's instruction. This time, instead of my created instruction, I'm going to do classroom instruction. And you'll notice here, this is where, if you scroll down where you have your applied mathematics for your different levels, you would check the box, click next, and of course you will want it either to all students, or you may even want it to a certain set of particular students, your choice. Okay, and this concludes applied math.